Jesus said, "You are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church, and the gates of the netherworld shall not prevail against it." The first part of this verse jumps off the page when we read it as Catholics. Our hearts swell with pride considering what happened at this moment in history. In short, an over 2,000-plus-year-old legacy that continues still today. What about the second part of that verse? "And the gates of the netherworld shall not prevail against it." We hear this verse read just as often. Do we really understand what it means? Today, we tend to think of the church simply as a refuge from the world. So it would seem Jesus is saying to us that the forces of hell won't defeat us as long as we remain safely inside the walls of the church. And this comforts us. But that's certainly not what Jesus intended for his church. In fact, Jesus didn't intend for us to be on the defensive at all. So when Christ says the gates of hell will not prevail, it's because he means they can't withstand us. He meant for us to be the ones on offense. Our world shows us to wage war by fighting, by conquering, by sieging, and winning at the expense of others. But ours is a war in the spiritual realm. So instead of waging war in the worldly sense, we need to begin waging Christ in our hearts. It's not a war against others, it's a war for others. We need to rethink worldly tactics and examine the logic of Jesus himself. The church isn't just a refuge or an institution. The church is you and me. When the apostles first heard, "And the gates of the netherworld shall not prevail against it," they staked their life on this promise, despite difficulties, fears, and the temptation to a comfortable life. Since then, throughout the centuries, individual Christians made the decision to follow Christ and bring the good news of the gospel to others. Today, we have the same decision to make. So, the next time you hear "the gates of hell will not prevail against the church," remember, it's their gates we are storming. This is your mission. So, let's show the world what we can do.